All right. So, anybody who'd like to speak, you're welcome. Um, Prabha.
Yeah, like when we do this breathing meditation, uh, so like that we won't get any thoughts that time. So like when we are not getting any thoughts, we feel happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and so then that happiness also impermanent. It's impermanent.
Yes,
Like
to some degree,
yeah,
it's conditional. It's conditioned upon not having
it's
thoughts. Yeah,
it's
happiness,
changing.
not having thoughts is conditional.
Yeah, it's like after you stop it, you won't feel that happiness. So it is changing. It is impermanent,
Mhm.
and it's non-self too.
Yes, you don't own it. You didn't. It leaves you when you're done. When it's done, yes, you don't own it. Thank you. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else have a story from life this week about equanimity or anything else, or the lack thereof? So, okay, Catalina.
Hello, hi everybody. And now that you give the option of other stories, first I want to thank you so much for the talk today. It's like about especially what is coming and the instability in climate change, and we are still like we are seeing it today. Huge storm, everybody prepare, and then nothing. It's like so unpredictable. We cannot predict. And like 2 days ago, like feel like spring, and then poof, winter is like. And I see the birds coming, and like, oh, the dogs are coming back. Poor animals. You know, they don't know what to expect. They don't know, as you say, extinction because of this craziness. And at the same time, the option that we have of being in ourselves, you know, like the option of practicing to be kind, to be in equanimity, to be in peace, to be in balance, to not to overreact or react and and be angry and be upset and be nervous and wanted to hit anyone that comes close to us because we are so afraid or upset. So the more I practice that of being very aware about myself, I see myself being wanting to push to kind of like be angry with people when I am angry with is inside of the situation that is happening right now. But it's wonderful to be able to see myself the wanting to blame or do, you know, like attack other people, and because I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling anxious. So it's I am grateful about this practice because of that, this awareness of this.
Hmm.
Yeah. And also I'm practicing a lot about something that you taught us many years ago about optimizing the moments of joy,
Yes.
knowing that joy is not something that is constant, but is like a little blurbs here, and being aware of that, of being aware of the little moments of joy that we have. And I have been practicing that, and it's so rewarding, you know, like to see just a little thing and know like wow, that produced joy. So joy really exists. And it's healing, especially as you said, what is coming. What is coming, like, it's really scary. But at the same time, if we are aware of these little moments of joy, there is the possibility to go to equanimity. Yeah, just that way to share that.
Yeah. Thank you, Catalina.
Thank you.
Keep optimizing joy. I wish I'd written it down. I read recently some quotation. I believe it was from Sojourner Truth. And I'm, of course, not going to say it literally, but I remember the gist of it was something like, I'm not going to let the existence of oppression keep me from enjoying being alive. Something along those lines. So there was the acknowledgement of oppression and the discernment of the freedom that's still available within it, you know? Seemed like such a precious thing. And if I could remember where it was, I'd go back maybe and copy it down now. Now that I realize it was a very handy thing to read. All right.
I want
Lower your hand. Okay, Prabha, go ahead.
that I want to ask from you something like you explained that suffering, impermanency, and non-self, they are the suffering. Is it include that happiness, sadness, and like it's not happy or not sad? Like, only the sadness, the suffering. Or
Oh,
like,
no, sadness isn't, happiness is suffering too.
yeah, and not happy and not sad also.
Yeah,
Or like only sad and happiness.
yeah. See, happiness is suffering too because it doesn't last, you know. It arises and passes. To the extent we cling to it, it becomes a source of suffering. So thank you. All right, Tanis, go ahead.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Um, uh, uh, I feel as though I've been struggling on kind of two different levels recently. I have had several health problems, not of my own, but of close family members, all happening very close together. And one, I am still really suffering from learning of one that has to do with a precious joy in my life, my grandchild, only grandchild. And that I'm going to say is pending, is the but something else happened with someone else in the family, a death in Texas, and where I'm from, and originally, and of a brother-in-law of one of my two sisters. And I decided to go down to the funeral, even though I didn't really know that my brother-in-law very well. He's a lot younger than my sister, and their lives have been very different. And I knew I was going to be in the middle of my family, my siblings, four of us, and it's high drama family with very extreme kinds of histories. And I hadn't seen my siblings since for maybe 6 years before, including the pandemic. And I thought, it's a time also. And one of my sisters was not well at all, and the one whose husband died. So I definitely went, and there was some tragedy in her life. So anyway, I'm trying to make this a little shorter, but it was the drama part, and how difficult all our relationships have been, except my brother was going to be there also, and he and I are close. And anyway, so I went, and there were kind of jokes, from people who knew me back here, like, oh my God, you're going to be in the middle of this, and with this brother-in-law, and oh my gosh, and they'd heard a lot of stories, and I'm like, felt I needed to go. And this brother-in-law, I had a lot of bad experiences with him, and not personal ones particularly, but just things. I'll just give an example, like, he did crack cocaine for years and years and years, and grew up that way. And when he was in that mode, very bad things happened. And that was a lot of the period I knew him in. And anyway, so as I went down there, I had no idea what my sister was going to do for her funeral. Her life was, hard. And I was going to be there with my other sister also, my two sisters, and we've had very tumultuous relationships. Anyway, so it's like, but somehow I felt okay about going. And I felt like, it's just going to be what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, and I've been through a lot of those situations. Yeah. My family, it's just going to be, I less and less get caught up in it, less and less. And that's a blessing. And
yes, that's equanimity.
Equanimity.
It's not getting caught up in it. Yes.
It's taken a long time, and meditation, even though I'm not a fabulous meditator, has really helped that being in the present, just the being in the present. And I felt I was there. And I couldn't help but think of two images I had of my brother-in-law. And they didn't go away. They were just, when I heard of his death, which was no surprise, even though he was under 60. And he had had a lot of illness. Anyway, I had two images, one of him with his dogs. He loved dogs, and he was a big guy with big old arms. And I had walked in once when I visited and seen him with those doggies, those little chihuahuas, in his arms. And it was so opposite of my picture of him. And I was so taken by that. I remember, and that was years ago. And then that was the main picture. There was another one also that was an image. And it just was with me the whole time I was there, 4 or 5 days. And at first, it was so sad. I saw the sadness in my family. And so bleak and so sad at first. And I was staying in a hotel. There's no way I could stay with a sibling. And it was, but gradually in that process, of course, I got more comfortable in that territory, I think. the territory of my family. And anyway, I'm just going on so long, but and by the end, and so I actually even was a very informal funeral, and my sister just wanted people to speak. She did at the beginning, just anything. And a few people did. And I did. And all I said, I just said I didn't know him very well, Larry very well, but I just wanted to say of a very strong image of this person, and I just told the image and how I cried. And I think most people there knew why with his life and this image. So anyway, by the end of that, and my sister, whose husband had died, and she was not well then, but we had gotten her some antibiotics she needed anyway. And we connected in the end. Anyway, in a way we never had. It's like I saw her and she saw me. And we had been healing over the years. But we saw each other. And I can't even tell you what we said or anything. We did.
Beautiful.
So anyway, I feel that's going to help me a little with my other situation with my granddaughter, who's only not quite 3.
Oh, it sounds so painful. Yeah.
And that is very, very painful. She's stuck in her development. She's stuck. And so, and the reasons for that are very disturbing. And so, just in trying to be there with her. So, anyway, but the one, I feel the trip, that all that somehow is going to help me with the other. So thank you, everybody.
It may be about faith. It occurs to me that the trip you just did really, I think, has given you some confidence that you can walk into a difficult situation and be in balance. It gave you some confidence. That isn't to say you weren't imbalanced many times in this trip by things that went on, because equanimity isn't about never getting imbalanced. It's about coming back into balance and, knowing how to do that just as much as it is staying in balance. And I think, you're talking about confidence growing in you, that you can do that and knowing what it feels like in an embodied way. And that the fruit of that, equanimity is one of the characteristics of the heart. It's the quality of the heart that allows some of the other things that we think of more as heart qualities to come through, like the connection you felt with your sister. After all these years, something opened between you, and there was understanding, empathy, goodwill, and that equanimity was a part of that. It's the container of peace that allows these other sorts of heart qualities to come out. So, just want to honor you for that experience and everything that took, and, really wish you the best for your granddaughter, because I know how heartbreaking that could be. And yet the words you used, I'll say back to you, is it's going to be what it is. That's true in every circumstance, that you can allow it to be what it is. And sometimes right in the allowing it to be what it is, you realize what it is you can do. When you're finding what it really is, oftentimes you kind of try all these things to do that aren't really effective and might even make it worse, but in the moment that you really have a deep acceptance, sometimes what you can do becomes clear. What you can do, what you can say. and you drop down into where you might know that. So best to you, Tanis.
Thank you, Mark.
All
Thank
right,
you.
you're welcome. Welcome. So it's time for us to close. So be well.